Hey, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. As always, it is Nick here, back for your daily crypto news and analysis. And today we're going to be talking about Algorand, aka Algo. So, this is one of those tokens that I do think is extremely undervalued. I know that most people will look at Algorand and say that it's overvalued by its market cap, compared to most. And listen, I'm going to be fully transparent with you guys. There might be better, well, I shouldn't say might. There are better ROI potential projects within the space, but Algorand is one of those projects that I do think everyone should have some sort of exposure to in their portfolio. Why? Because very similar to all the other utility gems that we do invest into, this is a very special one. There's a lot of things happening on Algorand. We're going to go in depth on that. ROI perspective, if we do go back to the recent all-time high, I think we were sitting at like $2.38. So we actually have the snapshot over here. So here's Algorand sitting at $2.38. Now, at that point in time, we had about like 5.2 billion Algo out in circulation. We now have about 7 point almost 1 billion out. So 71% of the total supply is out there. Now we will talk about metrics behind this and why I do think that the tokenomics are pretty solid for Algorand and why I do think that that's also going to benefit us in the ROI perspective. But if we do go back to the recent all-time high market cap, we would be sitting at about roughly $1.75. Now, granted, if we do compare it to some of the top 25 tokens, let's start with just XRP. We'd be sitting at about $2.70. These are bear market caps. ADA, $1.79, so pretty much right around where we are at now. And you can see some of the other ones as well. Dogecoin would be sitting at about $1.58, and the list goes on. Now, something that's always interesting to me is ADA's comparisons. So we've talked about ADA and comparing ADA to many of these other assets in the past. I'm pretty sure that ADA over here was sitting at its near all-time high. So yeah, we're just going to go off of the 82.6 billion. I know that we were higher on this list. I don't know if we can see that. It's probably the previous weeks. So yeah, so 93 billion. We'll go off of 93 billion just for the sake of this actually being on the list for September 5th, 2021's all-time high. So here is the market cap of ADA at its all-time high, and this is what Algorand would be worth if we were at that same market cap as ADA. An upside of 51x, a $13 algo. Just to give you guys a perspective, this was a $2.91 ADA. I do believe that Algorand could hit the double-digit figures. I think that $10 could be a potential target in the short term. Why do I think this? Well, look at the market cap of Algorand at $10, a $71.2 billion market cap. Let's go back over here and let's look at a few of these assets as they did perform in August. And also even going back to the May timeframe, because May was the big time for most of these assets, because that's when most of these assets did top out at. So here is May. We do see a few of these assets sitting around almost $70 billion. Dogecoin sitting almost around 70 some billion dollars. We know that Dogecoin did have an all-time high market cap of roughly around like almost $100 billion. I think it was like 94. I don't think that we have that here on the historical snapshot. I think it's kind of lost within some of these dates, but nonetheless, the reasoning behind me thinking that a $10 Algorand is possible is because of what's actually happening out on Algorand. So let's start off with what's happening. So one, Algorand is truly undervalued right now, the most straightforward purchase in a long time. Algorand is unleashing scalability, fusing traditional finance and DeFi, and also accelerating global sustainability. Buy, hodl, patience, success, choose wisely. This is from Crypto Winkle. Now, I do agree with this to an extent, right? Because words are words, actions speak louder than them. So let's take a look into what's truly happening. So the first metric that I always look at is TVL. TVL is a great way to gauge what's actually happening. So here's the number of projects tracked on DeFi Llama. Now, Ethereum has 600 plus, due to it being, of course, around as long as it has been. Polygon 300 plus. Polygon is also one that has roughly been around for a little bit of time, but it's also because of the connections that it's made. Solana 86, and Algorand 20 plus. Now Algorand, I will say, is going to have a lot more DeFi on it soon. But we also do see instant finality, zero downtime, no forks, trilemma solver, on-chain governance, higher TPS than the rest combined. Now, at the time that this did get posted, I don't know what the actual amount was in dollars, but you could see a few of the TVL of like Solana, and then over here, if it will load, there's Algorand. So again, you guys could do the conversion here. I am not going to do it just for the sake that I don't have a conversion calculator up. But we do have the DeFi statistics over here on DeFi Llama. So you can see a few of these. For example, Solana sitting at $500 million here in TVL. Polygon sitting at about $1.43 billion. We also do see Ethereum up there, $52.2 billion. Granted, yes, there's a ton of DeFi offerings over there. And then Algorand, sitting at 24 DeFi offerings at about $258.25 million. And this does fluctuate quite a bit, as you guys do see. Here is the fluctuation chart. We did hit an all-time high back in November of last year, sitting at about $331.79 million. Now we don't have all the way going back to like, I mean, like we technically do. Like November during this time, we were sitting at like $23 million or so. So this has been gaining a ton of momentum due to, of course, a lot of people parking their assets in staking opportunities and earning programs during the bear market, because hey, that's what the bear market's for, earning more and more tokens as you possibly can. But you could see a lot of the TVL offering is coming from Algo, which is a DeFi offering. If you actually look here, you can see a few of the things. So lending is the big one. This is where like $135.29 million is parked. So a lot of the lending protocols are the ones that are going to earn a lot of that. Now, I do want to focus on folks finance. This is actually a big one. This only has $25 million in TVL, but I'm going to play this video real quick.
In December, which itself brought a complete UI overhaul, we felt the front end was an area which could still use some tinkering. First, the old markets page has now been transitioned into the home page, accessible by clicking the Folks Finance logo in the header. On this page, you can find data about the assets provided to Folks lending markets. The significant upgrade are the cards we've added, which will make accessing key features easier than ever. Beyond the home page, the old dashboard has been split into two pages: Deposit and Loans. Deposit is where you can deposit digital assets to earn interest on them. These are reliable options for yield without exposure to leverage. Loans is where you can manage your borrowed positions, create loans, add or remove collateral, increase or repay your borrow, and change your interest rate type. These two pages operate the same as what you might be familiar with if you've used V2 before. We hope this UI update will make your use of Folks Finance smoother and simpler.
So yeah, this is a UI update. And as you guys do see, it is pretty solid. I actually really like this project. A lot of the DeFi offerings, I will say, on Algorand are much more of a user-friendly compared to most other chains. I really do love the DeFi offerings that Algorand does have. If you want to check out some of these protocols like Algo, for an example, you are more than welcome to. If you go to DeFiLlama.com, you can look at all of these. Here's the Algo. Algo, I will say, has some of the most incredible designs behind it. The overall view of this looks awesome. I personally love the way that this is designed. It's a very simple, straightforward, and if you even go to the app itself, it is very straightforward. You connect your wallet, everything loads up. Here's the total supply, the total borrow, all that kind of stuff. You could see everything around this. Very smooth UI. You can go to swap, you can go to pull, you can go to zap, farm. All of this is great for DeFi offering, and as you guys do see, you can see a lot of the TVL that's parked away. You can see what the earnings are up to. Most of this is up Like there's some that are offering 11 plus, but for the most part, it's going to be in the single digits. And you might be wondering, well, why would I do this when there's other ones that are offering me, 100+%, blah, blah, blah. This is stable. This is secure. Most of what we do see around DeFi, a lot of it is just rug pulls where it's offering you like 100+% gains. Like that's just ridiculous. But I do love the offerings. Like I said, these are very quality DeFi offerings, which I do think are going to allow for a lot more adoption and utility case around DeFi within this space for Algorand. I'm very excited for it. Talking about DeFi and stablecoin offerings, there's a ton of them on Algorand. Like I said, like this is an ecosystem that has a ton of projects already built out on it, empowered by Algorand. Here are the 8 main ones. Like I said, we talked about Folks Finance, we talked about AlgoFi. There's other ones as well. They're great. I think that a lot of this is incredible for the overall DeFi ecosystem. But then we also do see art and music NFTs. Then down here, we also see gaming, followed by oracles and bridges. And then we also do see infrastructure. And by the way, this is from the Algorand Foundation. If you guys are aware of, for an example, Hedera and the HBOR Foundation, this is very similar. There's a lot of grants going to award developers. For an example, we have infrastructure, about almost $7 million has been awarded. Gaming, oracles and bridges, about 3.2 million. Gaming has about almost 5 million. Art and music NFTs about almost 7.9 million. Up here, DeFi is the biggest one, which I think is something that everyone can appreciate because DeFi is the biggest one right now around this space. Like everyone does focus on DeFi. If you go to, for an example, cryptocurrencies, and you go to the DeFi space, this is where most of the money is parked during the bull market. Right now, yeah, because of the market crash, this is a little bit different of a story, but you can see some of the bigger assets when the market does pump back up are the ones that are in, the DeFi category. Now, this is not the only thing that Algorand has going for it. Go over to AlgoScan. So this is what I wanted to talk about with the supply ratio. Yes, there's 7.1 billion out there out of the total 10 billion, but as you guys do see, if you look at the staked supply, about 1.5 almost billion Algorand is locked away. We do have 40% of the total supply with governance, but 1.5 billion is basically locked away. And you do see the TVL here. You can look at this at algoscan.app. You could also see the transaction history. It might not be as much as HBAR, but it is something very special. I mean, listen, we are on this sort of slow path here. We did see an all-time high transactional-wise being hit back in December of 2021. Since then, we kind of slowed down, but this is expected. Now we could see the nodes, 4,000 nodes, active wallets about almost 17 million actually. NFT is about 2 million plus, and you can see the blocks, the transactions, all of that. It's very, very transparent. I personally love to see this. And by the way, this is not the only thing. If you actually go over to Algorand's website and you look at their trackers, they do have a whole bunch of trackers like this where you could see specific things around the Algorand ecosystem, how things are working, DeFi offerings, transactions, new accounts, new holders, and all that kind of stuff. You could look at all of that. They are very, very transparent. In fact, I'm not too sure if so this is the full Algo Explorer. This is the other one that I was utilizing beforehand. Here's where you can see the block speed. You can see the transaction cost, accounts as well. And this is like the transaction history. Again, like some of these are a little bit different. So if you look here, you can see accounts and you can see the overall account growth. So let's go to the 1 year tab. So 1 year, we went from about 70,000 accounts all the way up to about 128,000 accounts, which is a pretty nice growth curve. Going all the way back to 2019, you can see how fast this has picked up. Mainly during 2021 is where a lot of people really kind of started to jump into Algorand, which I do think that this is great for seeing the overall growth of Algorand. Now, you could also see over 1 million Algorand. These are the holders of 1 million plus Algorand, which you could see most of them were dumping out due to the overall market conditions. I do expect this to regain momentum. Over 10 million Algorand, again, kind of slowing. Over 100 million Algorand, this is where we do see a little bit of a different story. We are starting to see a shift here, and we're starting to see more at it, which is very interesting. But here you could see over 100K, over 10K, and over 1K, and we are seeing a lot of growth within all of these areas. Total accounts, again, very, very nice gain in the total accounts section. So we have about roughly 29.7 million. Going back 1 year, we had about 23.5, 23.6 million. And we are nearing the 30 million area. So this is great to see. Now, also, you could see economics. You can see the circulating supply, for an example, in the 1 year tab. You can see the market cap in the circulating supply. Yeah, circulating supply did go up a little bit. For an example, starting out March 2022, we were sitting at about 6.6 billion. We are sitting at about 7.2 billion. Like I said, tokenomics for Algorand make it very viable as an investment vehicle, as there's only going to be a max supply of about 10 billion out there anyways. But yes, you can see the overall viewpoint here from going back to January 2021 to now. It's about a gain of 100%. It's actually a little bit over 100%, but I welcome the full supply being out there. I've always talked about this. But you can also see on-chain volume. You can see every metric around this. I personally love to see when chains are this transparent. There's a lot of them out there that are this transparent, but I just love to see it. And here you guys can also see transactions. You can see Algo transactions. You can see total transactions. Here's the all-time chart for this. Again, slowing due to the bear market. We did see this hit an all-time high during December of 2021, just to be fully transparent with you guys. You can also see TPS, demand, all that. But yeah, I do think that Algorand has a possibility to hit the $10 plus range, an upside of 38x, due to the fact that the network is going to continue to see an incredible amount of utilization. Right now, during a bear market, there's really not a lot of use, but I do like to see DeFi offerings that are very, very quality, and also catering to the user. I also think that with DeFi being a big focus point, Algorand is really ahead of this. Also, gaming. There's been a lot of discussions around gaming. There's been a lot of discussions around NFTs. Hedera, it was one that we focused on quite a bit during 2021, as there was really no retail offering. Algorand has that. Algorand has DeFi. Algorand has so much going for it, and TVL for Algorand is up there. So I do think that Algorand, if they do continue to support their overall ecosystem, continue to expand, they will not have a single problem going to some nice highs. Obviously, we do need to clear the recent all-time high first to even talk about where we can go. Anywhere between $5 to $10 is welcome to me. At $5, this is a 19x. At $10, like I said, this is a 38x. So with all of that in mind, I hope that you guys enjoyed the video. If you guys did, definitely leave a like, subscribe, turn notifications on if you guys have more free content. You guys are more than welcome to follow me on Twitter and join the free Discord down in the description below. As always, hope that you all have a beautiful day, beautiful night, wherever you guys are in this beautiful world. This has been Nick. Peace out, guys.